Good morning. I'm Katie Yankosik. Thanks for joining me here on The Grace to Recover. We're working our way through Recover in Color, which is a year-long recovery project, and it was my COVID project. So I'm happy that we are in 2024 and we're beyond all of that isolation stuff. This week, we are covering the lesson Drive Friendly, which is lesson number 32 in the workbook. So you'll be drawing or coloring this page. Remember that Recover in Color is talk therapy, art therapy, and music therapy. The song this week is by Danny Goki. It is Love God and Love People. I will add the link to the official lyric video in the description in this with this video. So we're talking about how we drive. And the metaphor is, I should show you my finished drawing that I worked on this week. The metaphor that we're operating under is that we are each a vehicle. How we drive our vehicle, ourselves, is a reflection of how we feel inside. So we all have been on the roadway, those of us that are drivers, and we've driven aggressively. We've driven too fast. We've driven self-focused, self-centeredly. We don't have time for traffic stops. We don't have time for delays or accidents because we're focused on ourselves. So applying the metaphor to our emotional, relational, social lives is one where our concept is drive friendly. How you feel on the inside will come forward in how you are relationally, how you show up on the roadways, emotional, social, relational roadways of your life. So let's dive right into this lesson. It talks about how our words and our actions are part of that vehicle for the way that we communicate our feelings. And when our thoughts are destructive and our feelings are volcanic, we are emotionally violent. We act out. We can speak and we can act in ways that are harmful and hurtful. We start to do the blame and the shame game. And relationship interactions can feel like bumper cars. We get agitated. We can be aggressive. We can overreact and slam into somebody else. We could become defensive drivers, always on the lookout, critical for how other people are behaving, just like we do when we're driving. We criticize somebody for taking a corner too fast, missing an obvious yield sign, failing to merging too soon. Well, we can do that emotionally. We can be on the lookout for the errors and mishaps of others. And when we're judging somebody else, we're assuming that we could run their life better. Just like when we judge another driver, we're making a very blatant assumption that, well, if we were driving and had that same set of circumstances, we wouldn't goof up. In a way, somebody else's driving offends us. It happens in the emotional realm too, in the social realm. We're offended by the choices that somebody else has made, and we keep a record of it. We could retaliate. We could amp up our own aggression, or we could use our secret special way of being passive aggressive and retaliate that. We could even back another driver into a corner. Have you ever done it where someone pulls out in front of you and they shouldn't have, but they made a decision, they pulled out, and so you speed up, get right on them? I'm sure you've never done that. I've heard of people doing that. No, we've all done that. We make a demand. We let them know that we know they goofed up. Unhappy drivers act in unfriendly ways. And we also harm ourselves when we drive unfriendly. Speaking metaphorically here. We dangerously mishandle our emotional lives. Just like we can dangerously mishandle our vehicles on the roadway. We can act selfish, careless, reckless, or impulsive. We could have an emotional car accident, have a distrust of relating to others, and then we can park our car in the garage and isolate. I'm speaking in metaphor. We can be afraid of going out and about, so we isolate. Others may be afraid to be near us when we're out of control. They know we're going to play emotional bumper cars with them. Emotional bumper cars is not friendly for anyone. So this week the lesson is drive friendly, drive friendly, drive friendly. When we follow emotional driving rules and we establish healthy boundaries, we can interact in safe and healthy and kind ways. We can share the road. We can drive our emotional cars in friendly ways. We could turn our destructive thoughts around, process our emotional feelings, and then we have a chance to be respectful, to be encouraging, responsive rather than reactive. And we can be supportive, knowing that we're not the only car on the road. And in a family, in a group, in an office, in a community, in a neighborhood, there are other people. We need to understand that they're having their own experience, and then we can drive friendly. The idea of boundaries in this lesson is that I can only drive my car. I am responsible for the way I drive it, physically for real out there on the road, and then emotionally, me, the metaphor of me being a car. I know what my car needs. I know how it handles. I know the quirky parts of it. I know what my triggers are. And I also know how to drive friendly, what it takes to maintain the inner fuel lines when I'm going to run hot and when I'm going to overheat. I know that. When I am responsible for my own car, my own self, my actions, my attitudes, then I'm using healthy boundaries. I actually can then drive safe. The lesson says how you drive is up to you. And if you are a peacekeeping type of person, you may be tempted to become the cop, the safety cop, and direct traffic. Don't do it. It's like bumper cars will just slam into you and leave you wounded and on the sideline. Your time and your energy are better invested in learning how to remain detached from those aggressive emotional drivers, and to practice learning how to better manage your own self. Apply these road signs this week, and I wrote them down on this little paper because I've been working this lesson this week. I've needed all of these. Slow down, stop, do not enter, yield, private property, no trespassing, drive like your children live here, caution, dead end, keep a safe distance, wrong way. I had a wrong way flash this week. I was going the wrong way interacting with somebody. No passing. In other words, be patient. Wait your turn. Drive sober. Drive sober. Some of us are really needing to be sober-minded and to be clear-headed and not in a chaos brain up here. Don't drive distracted. I think there's new stuff out there about the research of how distracted driving kills. And eyes on the road. Focus on what you're doing. Those are some of the road signs. So let's move to the next section, which is personalize this lesson. We're on the think, feel, do section and the memorize section at the bottom of your page. Think. I choose emotional nonviolence. These are how we control our thoughts. I choose to drive friendly. I choose non-aggression. I will not hurt another person with my emotions. Each person deserves respect. I need to think this. Each person deserves respect. I want safe relationships. I will be a safe person to other people. I will be a safe person to other people. Can you hold space and be safe for other people? I accept others to make their own choices. I'm tempted often to get out of my emotional vehicle bumper car into somebody else, then get out of my emotional vehicle, get into theirs and drive for them. But I need to think. I accept others to make their own choices. Think. Goodbye sarcasm. Goodbye emotional bumper cars. Feel. I feel friendly. I feel in charge of my emotional vehicle. I feel safe, alert, and attentive. Some of you know that I'm living temporarily in Alaska, and sometimes if you're driving on ice or driving in a blizzard with the snow and the wind whipping and you can't see what's going on, you can feel unsafe in your vehicle. You can feel a rush of adrenaline, like, where is the car? And you get a little disoriented. And even if you've never lived in snowy and icy places, you know what that's like emotionally when you feel the same way. The threat is coming at you, and you're perhaps moving faster through the storm, and you're trying to get oriented. What's up? What's down? Can you tell yourself? Can you get to a place where you feel safe? Can you be alert and attentive without adrenalizing? Do. Let's go on to do. Do. Stop judging. Stop criticizing. Stop keeping score. Stop being sarcastic. Stop reacting in violent ways. Do. Choose to honor and respect boundaries and allow each person to drive his or her own emotional car. Okay, so memorize. We have drive friendly. That is our thing for the day. And the word is, whoever digs a pit will fall into it, and he who rolls a stone will have it roll back on him. So this is a verb from Proverbs. This is a Proverbs, let's see where it's Proverbs 26:27. And the idea is you get back what you put out. So if you're digging pits, you're going to fall into it. It's that karma idea. And if you're going to roll stones, even if you think you're hidden and you started rolling a stone to cause something to happen, it's going to come back on you. That's an Old Testament proverb. In the New Testament, Paul is writing to, I think, the Galatians, and he says, God will not be mocked. I think it's God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. That's the Christian karma right there. So the idea of driving friendly is so that others will be friendly back to you. Perhaps I should have picked this verse. I want to pause and thank my friend Natalie, who gave me this deck of cards over Christmas. And the verse says, the one here says, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. And that's from Romans 12:18. So it's a little card. Yeah. If it's possible, if it be possible, as much as is in you. In other words, just whatever you can pull together inside of you. Be at peace with all men. That's a good word right there. All right, let's take a look at some of these questions on the discussion. If you're in your workbook, that is page 118 for a weekly lesson, Drive Friendly. It says, describe your experience with emotional bumper cars. Are you a defensive driver, an aggressive driver, a relationship traffic cop, or a casualty of an emotional car crash? And my answer for this week says yes, I'm all those. I have been all those things, and I wrote down some description at length of each of those, because at first it's easy to think of, at least in my case, it's easy to go, oh yes, I am the victim. I am, somebody harmed me in an emotional car crash, and I can pull myself back to that scene as if it just happened. So then I also have to realize, no, I too have been an aggressive emotional driver. I too have been a defensive driver, meaning critiquing everybody else out there and on high alert, waiting for everybody else to be wrong and make an error. And I have most definitely been a relationship traffic cop, trying to keep everything right so everybody would just get along. Can we all just get along? I've been all of those things. Okay, question number 2, choose a road sign, and we did some of those examples here, and express how it might help you to drive friendly this week. The one that has been hanging up on at my house is the yield sign. Yield. And now you know it's just me and my husband living in this little apartment, but I've needed to yield. And this week, under the banner of drive friendly, I've been thinking about yield, yield, yield. It's good. It's a good week. Number 3, question 3, write out a personal commitment statement to choosing emotional nonviolence. In other words, to choosing no bumper cars. No emotional bumper cars. Stop. I wrote, I choose emotional nonviolence. Winning is sometimes losing, and losing is sometimes winning. That was my little statement of the week. The 4th and final question is, how can emotional boundaries improve the dynamics in your home this week? And I wrote, I need to stay in my lane, and sometimes I need to stay in my car. Meaning me, manage my attitude, manage my actions, stay in touch with what's going on with me. So I hope you will drive friendly this week, and I hope that you will take time and really work through and sit with this lesson. God bless. See you next time.